Hello and welcome to the Secrets of Self-Hypnosis Volume 5. We're on Disc 5 now. This is copyright 2005, all rights reserved for me, Adam Eason. So by now, you know how to get yourself settled. You know how to structure your self-hypnosis session. You know how to create programs, and you know the best language to use while you're in self-hypnosis. You're now ready for the next big step. The next step, of course, is actually going into hypnosis and getting used to the experience of it. Now, included in this program, included in this audio set, are some hypnotic sessions for you to get used to using it. Obviously, if you're listening to this in the car, by the way, you know you don't start taking yourself into hypnosis at the car. You can learn how to do it at the wheel, but of course, you really don't want to be taking yourself into hypnosis right now. Okay. So the time has arrived for us to start going into hypnosis and creating some trance states to enjoy. I'm going to be talking about ways in which you can do that just for yourself, okay, and you're going to start practicing taking yourself in. And I'm going to be talking about inductions. And induction simply means to induce trance, to induce self-hypnosis, okay, to induce the state of hypnosis in yourself. The induction is just a simple procedure, of which we're going to talk about many methods, just to follow to induce trance in yourself. Now, the induction is the initial stage of the session, and that's what creates the state of body and mind to enter hypnosis. Now, often, when the body is relaxed, the mind can begin to focus on the state that's necessary to create the state of self-hypnosis. However, physical relaxation is not absolutely essential. It does help, especially in these early stages when you're practicing. If you're the kind of person that fidgets a lot, you may need to work on some very active relaxation before inducing some deeper states of self-hypnosis, okay? Now, we're going to progress from eye fixation techniques to visualization techniques to awareness techniques and other forms of induction to really get you aware of the varying forms that your self-hypnosis can take, and that you can discover what works best for you. If you are hyper-aware on one occasion, or maybe anxious and analytical during a session, you may need to use a different technique. Be aware of falling asleep during your sessions. I know this sounds rather silly, but, avoid doing self-hypnosis on your bed, unless you're using it to enhance your sleep. And keep your mind focused on the objective that you want to achieve from the session. Remember, deep, non-dreaming sleep is when there's no communication going on between your minds. And the reason I say, look, don't do your self-hypnosis on your bed is because your unconscious mind associates your bed with sleeping. Okay, so unless you're going to use it to enhance your sleep or actually drift into sleep, which is something we're going to come on to later, then use your self-hypnosis somewhere else, sitting upright or even when you're slightly uncomfortable. Now, those of you that relax really easy or possibly do fall asleep easily need to look at the inductions that keep you curious and interested in the process, things that keep your mind active. So again, you may not want to use some of the long or lengthier induction methods and instead go for the shorter, snappier inductions that keeps you tuned in and sharp and aware of the process. Okay, so to begin, use the techniques and strategies, and I would use a variety of them. Find out which one's going to work best for you. Use the techniques and strategies to ensure that you're settled, as we learned in the chapter of the first section of this audio set. Be aware of yourself, relax, breathe well, have a good sense of expectation and optimism. We're going to start including some sessions and some processes for you to begin to work through. Now, included within this audio set, there's a manual. In that manual, we've got some sample scripts for you to look at using as well to begin to start taking yourself into hypnosis. There's a very particular structure to this part of the audio set. There's several ways of developing trance states for yourself, along with the scripts that are included for you to follow and for you to practice going in and out of trance states. Now, I would recommend that you can find scripts all over, everywhere, on the internet. There's books of them, but I'm going to recommend that you start to learn and continue to use your own methodologies and employ your own imagination, your own mindset to the way in which you're doing this, and you'll get a lot more from it. Believe me, okay? Now, while you're practicing, you don't have to concern yourself with delivering programs or suggestions for change in the early stages. Just ensure that you're getting acquainted with and you get good at taking yourself in and out of self-hypnosis. And just enjoy the trance, just enjoy the sessions. Now, when you're really happy that you can get yourself into a trance with these methods or with various different methods, you can take yourself into hypnosis and then use the program for self-hypnosis that I've enclosed in this audio set, okay? The program for self-hypnosis is designed especially for you to use to install the model of self-hypnosis into your unconscious mind, the model that we've discussed before. Then you can begin to structure all your self-hypnosis sessions as described in the model of self-hypnosis previously, and you can begin to start delivering programs and achieving excellence. Okay? So, just to recap here, practice going into trances with the methods in this audio set that I'm going to be talking about next, and the scripts that are enclosed in the handbook. Okay? Second of all, start taking yourself into trances. When you're used to it, when you know that you can get yourself into a trance, then deliver the program for self-hypnosis that is enclosed. And then start structuring your self-hypnosis sessions as per the model of self-hypnosis. And then use your self-hypnosis to deliver your personally created programs with regards to the language and everything else, the guidelines that I've talked about before. Okay, and then you'll be in a position to go on to the specifics and the specific applications and the advanced techniques that we're going to be talking about in later sections of this audio set. Now, some self-hypnosis sessions are going to want to be on the spur of the moment, and they're not going to involve writing programs, maybe to relieve pain if you hurt yourself, or to relax before a job interview, or to get to sleep if you're feeling restless. These are all things that you can enter hypnosis and do these things without all the program writing and preparation. And I'm going to be talking about instant hypnosis slightly later, when you can start to use it to instantly get yourself into hypnosis just at a flick of a switch. If you banged your finger in a door and it really hurts, it's really throbbing, you don't want to have to sit down, count from 1 to 10, relax yourself, deepen the experience, because your finger's going to be throbbing. Ow, my finger hurts, and I'm counting from 1 to 10, blah, 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 having to go through this process. You're going to want instant hypnosis, and we're going to be talking about how to do that later on. Okay, so ensure that you've got all that straight, and come on back in just a moment. Now, the first technique that I want us to start becoming aware of is called attention fixation, okay? And you can do this in all manner of different ways. So, having got yourself settled and relaxed and in a comfortable position, focus your attention on an object or a spot on the wall or the ceiling or anything else that is stationary. Okay, focus all your attention and place all your awareness on that spot or that object. Really examine it. Continue to breathe deeply while you focus with purpose and at a nice, slow pace. Slow your breathing. Have all your thoughts on that object or spot. The idea here is that you are creating a focus that is free from distractions. You are eliminating unwanted thoughts and feelings by not focusing on them. Of course, you're likely to find, especially when first doing this, that stray thoughts pop into your head or that you wander for a moment or two. If this happens, just bring your awareness back to that object and focus and breathe deeply. As you practice, you'll become better and better at focusing your attention and clearing your mind. If other thoughts do pop into your mind, you don't have to resist them or fight them. Just allow them to pass as quickly as they came and focus on your point of focus again. There's no right or wrong here, just experience. At this stage, you can now begin to start telling yourself how relaxed you are as you continue to focus all thoughts and feelings on that spot. When you feel that you're really nice and focused, you can begin to start giving yourself suggestions, such as some of the following things that I'm going to mention, though obviously it's going to benefit more from your own language as you get better at it. So you can start to say things to yourself such as, with each slower, relaxing breath that I inhale, I can feel the relaxation spreading into my shoulders and neck, and with each breath that I exhale, that relaxation deepens, and the muscles in those areas soften and loosen, and the relaxation spreads down through my body. I can feel it spreading and relaxing deeper. Now, using your own words, of course, is better. It's the notion, and what we want to install here is the idea. Your unconscious will understand that you want to relax and begin to develop it further. You may notice your eyes blinking, or they may not be blinking at all. They may even water ever so slightly. You can notice this happening and feed it back to yourself, maybe by saying something like, as my eyes continue to focus on this spot that I've chosen, they may feel more and more tired. Each blink of my eyes serves to deepen the level of relaxation in my body and sends more of it through my body, softening and loosening more and more. Now, you may want to allow your eyes to close if you think you would be more comfortable. If you do, initially, imagine that spot that you are focusing on. Imagine that you can still see it and are focusing on it, even though your eyes are closed. You might want to spend longer with your eyes open in these early sessions. You can decide when the time's right for you to proceed to doing so. You may want to add here something like, I can decide when I want to close my eyes, just as I choose to allow myself to relax and drift off to sleep in the evenings, so I choose when to allow my eyes to close and develop my hypnotic state. Continue to give yourself a steady flow of simple, relaxing suggestions in a variety of different ways, or sticking to what is most effective at that time. The repetition will allow your mind to relax and can drift then comfortably into the right state for you at that time. Close your eyes gently whenever it's right for you and allow yourself to relax more. When you feel that you are altering your state, you can proceed to enter self-hypnosis this way and then follow the self-hypnosis model as best as you can from here. So having accessed hypnosis in this way, albeit in a different way than that of the self-hypnosis model step A, this is just for now. You can now take control, deepen in whatever way is right for you, deliver a simple suggestion if you want. Later you're going to develop and deliver programs, and then thank your unconscious mind and exit hypnosis. Okay. For some of you, the only way to get yourself into self-hypnosis might be using an induction technique that has a physiological aspect that you can notice very obviously. These kind of inductions are often the kind of authoritarian methods used by hypnotists, and they're commonly used on stage. Not everyone will find these kind of methods useful. However, some of the types of people who will do are those who are used to maybe requiring evidence or having something tangible to be aware of what is occurring. Dave Ellman, a master of direct induction techniques, and his book entitled Hypnotherapy outlines his approaches in far greater details. And we're going to be using one of his better known methods of inducing hypnosis later on, or it's going to be in the scripts or something. So firstly, allow yourself to clasp your hands in front of you. Clasp them together in front of you with the fingers interlocking, and then do the following. Press your hands really tightly together, really tightly, so that you can feel the palms of your hands touching each other. Press them very tightly indeed, so that it verges on being uncomfortable. Allow your hands to become locked together so tightly that they feel as though they're stuck together with superglue or something. They're just so tightly and securely locked together. And the harder you press those hands together, the tighter they stick and the more securely locked the hands become. You need to be telling yourself this over and over. Press them together so tightly now that they just won't come apart. Even say Even say to yourself and ensure that you are telling yourself that they just won't come apart. That's it, tighter and tighter. Those hands so securely clasped, so tightly clasped. Like the hands are held together with superglue and they just won't open at all. You can even pretend that they're locked together and stuck, so that as long as you're pretending, of course, they are locked together and stuck together. Really imagine it in your mind that they're stuck together with that glue. Then, in a moment, ask yourself to try to open them. You'll try to open them, but they won't open at all because they're so tightly stuck together. Okay, so try to pull the hands apart. Try, and notice that the hands are just too tightly clasped together that they simply don't open at all. And the harder you try to open them, the tighter they feel. And when you're ready, relax the hands. Stop trying to open them and just let them open. Let them open easily, and the hands are moving apart. Take a look at your hands. There, they're opening easily now. Just relax them by your side and allow your eyes to close. And then follow one of the other scripts, or begin to follow the steps of self-hypnosis from here onwards. So doing step B, step C, step D, step E. And then just relax your hands by your sides. Allow yourself to take yourself into a deeper state of hypnosis. Do whatever it is to deepen your experience. And as you do that, notice how your hands feel and let those sensations of relaxation start to increase and spread through your body. And you can take over from here as you continue to give yourself suggestions to enhance this, to make it even more comfortable. I know that I've already spoken about breathing, but I want to talk about breathing inductions. In addition to the information in the earlier chapter with regards to settling down and using your breath can be used to induce trance and is used all over the world in various practices of meditation, and they're often very powerful. Now, you can start to heighten your awareness of your breath even more than you were previously, noting it as it comes in and goes out, keeping the length of breath the same throughout. You may even want to imagine your breath going deeper and deeper down. Now, a deeper breath is not necessarily a bigger breath or a larger breath. It is simply a breath that goes deeper and deeper down. It's a breath that relaxes you more and allows your body to ease on down. Firstly, here's a good induction, a good idea for focusing on your breathing. You can begin, as we have done with other inductions, to notice a spot on the ceiling or the wall and let all of your awareness be on that single spot for a moment. As you breathe and begin to relax, you may notice that your awareness on the spot changes. You can also notice the way your awareness and focus changes too. As we did before with another induction, you can allow yourself to notice interesting things about the tiniest details of that spot. Now, you may have noticed that as you're focusing on that spot, your body's relaxing a little bit more. All the time throughout this induction, feed back to yourself. Keep saying to yourself, your inner self, the things that get this notion across, that you are relaxing, that you're calming. And you can now heighten your awareness of how heavy or light your arms and legs are. Just notice them and the sensations within them. Maybe you noticed as well that your breathing is altered. And whether it's slowed down a little or a lot, use your imagination, your awareness, and say to yourself that it is becoming beneficially slower, deeper, and comfortable in a way that enhances your self-hypnosis. As your breathing becomes more naturally rhythmic and relaxed, tell yourself that your body is beginning to feel more relaxed, and continue to notice how heavy or light your limbs are right now and the sensations that exist within them. Just continue to notice the spot and continue to notice how you feel, and now also notice how steady your breathing has become as you focus upon it. Allowing it to happen without you interfering with it is really important, almost as if you were observing your breath happening, Just stop interfering with it and just let it happen, as if you were watching a baby in your arms breathing or a bird on a tree breathing, just observing your own breathing, being so steady and so comfortable. Maybe it is the same level of breathing that you had before when you've allowed yourself to relax. So gentle, so easy, just to observe your breath. And it can begin to feel as if each breath naturally leads to the next breath, so that each breath in leads to the next breath out, and so on. They occur in harmony. And then just get yourself focusing on that idea that each breath in is easily and naturally leading to the next breath out, and that the next breath out leads to the next breath in, so that it may begin to feel as if your breath is becoming more of a circle of breath. Your breathing can be imagined by you as being circular, so that each breath is continuing to lead to the next in a circular motion. Allow yourself to enjoy the natural way that this happens, okay? Watch it happening passively. And notice how naturally that happens for you, feeling as if your breath is continuous, a relaxing circle. Then continue breathing naturally and let each breath relax your body more and more, so that your eyes can be relaxed more too. Focus on and imagine your eyelids becoming heavier, more tired, so that you find it harder and harder to keep them open. When your eyes get too heavy to keep open, you can just let them close. Relax your eyelids even more and let that softening, relaxing feeling travel and spread into all of the muscles of your face. Then start teasing yourself a little bit by imagining how good it's going to feel when you do close your eyes. Then when you're ready, you can decide for yourself to close them. Notice how good it feels and tell yourself how that feels. And now that you have your eyes closed, you can then notice that circle of breath even more, just happening naturally, almost like it has a flow of energy all of its own. Continue to imagine that happening all by itself, a steady, circular breath that requires absolutely no effort from you. Focus on the breath totally, to the exclusion of everything else. All that exists is that circle of breath. Now, from here, you can start to use your imagination more if you want to. For example, you can begin to notice and imagine yourself inside of this circle of breath, maybe feeling the gentle movement and going along with it. You might even want to imagine the color or sounds of it and make them colors or sounds that appeal to you and your unconscious mind. Then begin to get yourself fully immersed in the freely moving circle of your breath. Many people just use this as an exercise for relaxation and enjoyment, but the more you practice, the more you get from it. Then you can begin to journey inside of yourself, into your unconscious mind, and begin following the steps, B, C, D, E. Really allow yourself to go deeper inside your own mind, maybe to a place inside you where change can happen. Maybe to where you have all the information and resources to achieve whatever you wanted to achieve with this particular hypnosis session, if there was anything at all. And discover what you want to discover, or maybe just bask in the relaxation for now. Concentrate on your breathing, or continue to understand and receive information that your inner mind, your unconscious mind would like you to know. Okay. Then you can use this time to deepen the state, to deliver a suggestion or a program, or just count to 5 and bring yourself out of this state. Remember that in the initial stages, all we're doing is just practicing altering your state, getting into hypnotic states, so that you can then deliver your program for self-hypnosis at a later date, in a couple of sessions' time, and start to powerfully structure your self-hypnosis sessions, start delivering your programs that you're going to write, and then begin to give your sessions more purpose, okay? The purpose of this particular volume is just getting into the state, just altering your state and getting into that idea, okay? So take a quick break. We'll be right back. Now, here is a slightly different take on the idea of concentrating on your breathing. I originally got this idea from Terence Watts. He's a well-known UK-based hypnotherapist and trainer, a truly talented man, and I want to give him full credit for this idea. I like to credit people where it's due, and this idea came entirely from him, and I've kind of used it in many, many different ways. And this idea involves imagining breathing through your hands. It's an innovative, relaxing, fun induction method which works well pretty much for anybody. So begin by getting yourself settled down and comfortable, then follow these guidelines as best as you can. Having got yourself settled and starting to relax, ensure that your hands are on your lap or by your sides, and allow them to be free so that you can fully experience the sensations within them. Don't have them scrunched up or in a fist. Have them outstretched, relaxed and comfortable. Allow them to be free. And then firstly, allow yourself just to concentrate on your own breathing for a few moments. Let yourself imagine a very unusual idea, though. Imagine that you can actually breathe through your fingertips. Just imagine and get yourself involved in that idea that you can actually breathe in through your fingertips. Continue to use your imagination and imagine that you can sense the air moving into your hands, maybe quite slowly at first. And as you experience the sensations in your hands and your fingers, you might just notice a faint tingling sensation of some kind as you concentrate on your hands. Really concentrate on them, become aware of them. And you might feel that on the backs of the palms of your hands. And as you focus on that idea that you are breathing through your fingers, progress onto imagining that feeling of the air moving slowly along your arms. Imagine it moving through your elbows. Keep on just imagining that comforting flow of air moving into your shoulders, both arms simultaneously, both shoulders. Then as you imagine it moving, notice the sensations that you're aware of, so that maybe you find, again, that faint tingling sensation or any other sensation that might be there in your elbows or your forearms this time. And then keep on with this. Imagine the air moving down through the body, down into your legs, through the thighs, through the knees, into your lower legs. Take more time with it than I'm spending. You'll notice properly that that I'm not using my hypnosis voice right now. Because if you're listening to this in the car, I don't want people crashing all over the countryside right now. We don't want you to going into hypnosis listening to this. We want you to use this technique away from here, okay? Again, continue to look out for the different sensations as it moves, so that you might feel that faint tingling sensation just there somewhere along your legs or just around your knees. Then allow it to move down through your ankles, into your feet, and finally out through the feet. And you can now start developing the idea as you continue to imagine this. You might want to picture the air moving through you, or color it, or even give it a sound as you allow it to continue rhythmically, slowly and steadily. The suggestions that you can give yourself now can be that you find a great deal of calmness and easiness in that rather unusual process of breathing in through your fingers, letting the air move slowly as you can actually feel the air continuing to move through your entire body. In just that one single, natural, steady, unidirectional flow. And because it is a unidirectional flow of air moving through your entire body in one single easy flow, you can give yourself suggestions and ideas to develop the notion that the calmness and relaxation that you are breathing in and noticing are not involved in any way with any tensions or stresses that you might be breathing away from yourself. And you can continue to repeat that idea, that suggestion to yourself that the calmness and relaxation you breathe in is uninvolved with the tiniest traces of any tensions or anxieties that you breathe away from yourself. You may not even want to suggest that there are any tensions or anxieties to let go of in the first place. You might not even want to mention that much. But just continue to remind yourself that with each breath you take, with each thought that you think, with every feeling that you experience, you find yourself becoming steadily and naturally more relaxed, going deeper inside your own mind. Develop and continue with the idea that each breath you take, with each sensation you experience, you're steadily, easily, and naturally more calm, more relaxed, and at ease. And as you continue this rather unusual process of breathing in through your fingers and allowing that soothing, gentle, relaxing flow of air to move through your entire body and out through your feet. This is then something that you can do for yourself with more and more ease whenever you want to. All you have to do is simply settle yourself in a comfortable position, with your eyes closed, and simply imagine yourself breathing in through your fingers. You can develop it further and imagine that flow of air comforting and relaxing every part of your body as it moves. Then you're breathing the air out through your feet. You may even want to suggest to yourself that each time you breathe out, you relax a little further or settle a little deeper into whatever it is you're sitting on. Nice idea. I use that a lot. More profoundly, whatever suits you the most and generates the most wonderful feelings is what you're going to do to make it more profound. Okay? Now, as with before, you can progress to the deepening the state, taking control of your hypnosis, delivering any suggestions, and exit. Okay, until you're ready to install your program for self-hypnosis. Okay. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about visualization inductions. Using your imagination, visualization, your senses, really, your imagination to enter hypnosis. There's several scripts included in the manual, in the accompanying literature, some long, some shorter. I'm going to give you a couple of nice, quick examples, essentially, of using your imagination to imagine and induce self-hypnosis in that way. The first one, it's known as a candle induction. Just start by when you're settling yourself down, then start by using your imagination to imagine in your mind's eye a single candle which is lit. Focus your mind on the flame of the candle. Notice the flickering, the dancing of the flame, the yellows and the reds swirling around. And whether you see this in your mind, whether you imagine it, sense it, or just think to yourself that you know it's there, whichever of these ways that you do this is the right way for you, okay? Just trust that you're doing it in the way that's right for you. Keep the candle in your mind as you go very gently, very deeply, and begin the relaxation process. And just enjoy watching the candle in your mind, almost as if you're watching film. And as the flame flickers and dances, you may also notice that kind of halo around the flame, like a natural glow or aura. And if you find your mind wandering away from the flame of the candle, just gently bring it back again. And then just continue. As you keep the flame of the candle in your mind, just there, then you can begin to count down from 10 to 1 in your mind. Tell yourself that with each number that you count makes you many, many times more comfortable, more relaxed than you are now, and just keep on suggesting similar suggestions to yourself. Then go on to count to yourself or out loud, whichever's most agreeable for you, and allow yourself to relax more and suggest to yourself that you are more and more deeply relaxed. And once you've finished counting, you may want to go on to something else, another way of deepening further that suits you. And at the end of each of these inductions, when you're proceeding with the remainder of the self-hypnosis session, it's a good opportunity to create some receptiveness within yourself. When you take control of the state with regards to step B, you can even suggest to yourself things such as, I'm now very relaxed, and each and every suggestion that I give myself, that I deliver to myself, goes deeply into my mind to that place where I allow change to happen. Or something similar along those lines, using your own language to suit you and your own preferences. Okay. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about stairways and going down induction. This notion that we actually go deeper into hypnosis is one that's led to many methods of inductions that take us in a downward direction. Because of this idea of deepening hypnosis, ideas such as going downstairs, traveling down escalators, descending in an elevator, or even skiing down mountains and diving deep into the oceans are ones that are commonly encountered. So here's an example of a staircase induction to give you some idea, and then you can expand or develop the idea to kind of meet your own preferences. So as you sit or lie in your comfortable position, allowing yourself to get very comfortable, very relaxed, you again use your imagination to allow yourself and guide yourself to become aware of a staircase. And the example that I'm going to use here is that of a beautiful staircase with a polished, ornate banister running down alongside and a deep, rich carpet underneath your bare feet. Simply because that's the kind of thing that appeals to me. You choose whatever appeals to you most. As you look down the stairs, you can notice there are 10 steps, or however many you want, however many lead down into your own basement of relaxation, for example. Leading down gently, but I'm choosing 10 steps, leading down and down. And these are the steps that lead you into a deeper, more beneficial state of hypnosis. They lead down into the part of you that knows how to achieve all the things you want to achieve. Or maybe you just want it to lead down into some deep relaxation. Maybe even down into that basement of relaxation that I mentioned earlier. And then in the next moment, begin to walk down those steps at a pace that is conducive with enhancing and altering your state. And as you step down each step at your own pace, you count them off to yourself one at a time. You maybe even want to take each step with each breath that you exhale or something like that. And then begin to give yourself the suggestion that you find and discover for yourself that the deeper down you go, and with every step you take, the more comfortable and more relaxed you do become. So when you're ready to walk down the stairs, imagine that you gently and purposefully place your hand on the aforementioned banister. Get it in some detail in your mind, maybe even imagine how it would feel, and begin to slowly descend the stairs as you count them off from 10 to 1 or whatever set of numbers you want. You may enjoy this so much that you want to take a spiral staircase down 100 stairs, counting backwards, okay? So with each step, suggest to yourself what it is that you want to happen with each step. For example, you may want to say to yourself something along the lines of 10, deeply relaxed, 9, wonderfully comfortable, each step taking me deeper, 8, letting go even more with every step, 7, so calm, at ease, 6, way down, 5, more peaceful, finding that place of peace and harmony deep down inside me, 4, tranquil, deeply comfortable, more so with every step. 3, moving deeper. 2, almost at the bottom now. 1, way down to that deeper, healthier level of mind. Obviously, I would expand on it, do it slower, more developed, more detailed. Then as you reach the bottom step, you can let the stairs in the usual world, your everyday world, drift further away as you drift further and further down. Tell yourself that you're drifting deeper and deeper. When you find yourself standing at the bottom of the steps, feeling very comfortable, very relaxed and at peace with the world, you can take it further if you want. Sometimes you can imagine that there's the most inviting and comfortable looking bed in front of you that you just sink into, and you allow yourself to dream about a special place. You may want to imagine that in front of you is a large oak door. The door's closed, but you can and do open it because, of course, you have the key to this door. Maybe it's a door to a deeper level of being. Anyway, ensure that you really want to go through the door and that you want to see and experience what's there on the other side. You can anticipate and expect, or just allow yourself to innately know that a wonderful place is there waiting for you. So progress on to move toward the door, push it open, push the door open, maybe imagine it creaking gently open, push it even further open and walk through. And then as you close the door behind you, find yourself in a very special place. And you can decide what that place is. Alternatively, you can just then start the process of taking control of the hypnosis session, developing it within the structured model of self-hypnosis. If you're going to go to a special place, describe the special place to yourself with your language and words, then also imagine it. Hear the sounds that are or would be there. Generate the feelings that let you know that this is a special place for you. Really get into it. There are a variety of different ways to induce this trance state, to induce your self-hypnosis. Experiment with them and enjoy them. Really get used to going in and out of those trance states. Before moving on, I'm going to give you a really interesting and well-known technique of entering self-hypnosis. It's known as the Betty Erickson technique. She's the person that devised it. Betty's husband, Milton Erickson, that I refer to a lot, is a renowned hypnotherapist, psychiatrist, no longer with us, but made a massive impact. Is a real pioneer of modern-day hypnosis. And this technique is entirely attributed to Betty. Take a short break and we'll get on with that. Okay, so the Betty Erickson method. This self-hypnosis method is based on some premises. While there's a number of counter-examples to these notions, they're going to be of value in understanding and utilizing this process. So some of these premises I've touched upon already and I've mentioned already in this program. We process information. That is, we think in pictures, in sounds and feelings. In neuro-linguistic programming, these senses, these modalities are referred to as our representational systems. So we talk about the visual system, which is the external things that we see, and the internal images that we create in our mind. This includes remembered images, like what does your front door look like? Constructed images, which is, what would it look like if it was redecorated? As well as the actual real things that we see about us. We also have the auditory system, which are the external things that we hear, the internal sounds that we create in our mind, and this includes, remembered words or sounds. Think of your country's national anthem, for example. But it also includes imagined words or sounds. Imagine that national anthem played on a saxophone. Okay, and it also includes your internal dialogue as well as all of the real, actual, live sounds around us. And then also we have the kinesthetic system. These are things that we feel. These can be actual physical sensations or imagined ones. Can you imagine being at the seaside and paddling in the cool sea or the ocean? Okay, now most of us have developed a greater proficiency with one or the other of our representational systems, though we do all use all three of them. Okay, now as I mentioned earlier, we often do have a dominant system. Since this is the case, an individual who thinks in images wouldn't always experience an altered state of consciousness, a state of self-hypnosis, simply by visualizing. However, if that same individual were to experience, a preponderance of feelings or sensations, this would be unusual, an alteration of their state of consciousness. When we talk about altered states, all I'm referring to is self-hypnosis or a different state to that which is usual, okay? There's a few different ideas that I just want you to ensure that you have in your mind. The experience of hypnosis is typically an inwardly focused one in which we move away from the environment around us and we turn our attention inwards, okay? Now, the technique here. Find a comfortable position. Get a position that you'll be able to maintain easily for the time that you're going to be doing this process. It can be sitting, lying down. Sitting is recommended, as I've mentioned earlier. Make sure you don't fall asleep. Get yourself centered, settled, looking in front of you and breathing slowly and easily. Just let yourself relax. Think about the kind of time that you're going to spend in hypnosis. Good idea. Maybe even give yourself a purpose. Make a statement to yourself about the purpose of going into self-hypnosis. Now, the process is this. Looking in front of you, notice three things, one at a time, that you see. Okay, go slowly, pausing for a moment on each. It's preferable that they be small things, such as a spot on the wall, a doorknob, the corner of a picture frame, for example. Okay, some people like to name the items as they look at them. So, you can say, I see the hinge on the door frame. If you don't know what the name is for the thing that you're seeing, then say, I see that thing over there. Then turn your attention to your auditory channel and notice one by one three things that you hear. You'll notice that this then allows you to incorporate sounds that occur in the environment rather than being distracted by them. So next, attend to your feelings and notice three sensations that you can feel right now. Again, go slowly from one to the next. It's useful to use sensations that are normally outside of your awareness, such as, the weight of your glasses or the feeling of your watch, the texture of your shirt on your body, the feeling of your feet in your shoes, for example. Continue the process then using 2 visuals, then 2 auditories, then 2 kinesthetics. Then in the same manner, continue, and be slow about this, be thorough and slow, with 1 of each. Okay, you've now completed the external portion of the process. Now it's time to begin the internal part, okay? So now close your eyes. and then bring an image into your mind, okay? Don't work too hard at this. You can construct an image or simply take what comes. It may be a point of light, it may be a beautiful beach, it could be your car or an apple. If something comes to you, just use it. If nothing comes, feel free to put something in your mind. Pause then and let sounds come into your awareness, or generate one, imagine one, and name it. Although this is technically the internal part, if you should hear a sound outside or in the room with you, it is okay to use that. But remember, the idea is to incorporate things that you experience rather than being distracted by them. Typically, in the absence of environmental sounds, I often use, whooping alleluias from a gospel band, a gospel choir. Don't ask me why, that's just something that happens in my mind. Okay, next, become aware of a feeling and name it. It's preferable to do this internally. Use your imagination. I feel the warmth of the sun on my face, for example. However, as with the auditory part, if you actually have a physical sensation that gets your attention, use that. Then repeat the process with 2 images, 2 sounds, 2 feelings. Repeat the cycle once again using 3 images, 3 sounds, 3 feelings. Then to complete the process, now I just want to say, it's not unusual to feel a little bit spaced out or wander off sometimes, as you may well have done with lots of the other ways of going into hypnosis. Some people even think they've fallen asleep, but generally you'll find yourself coming back automatically at the end of the allotted time if you set yourself some time at the beginning. This is an indication that you weren't sleeping, that your unconscious mind was doing what you asked of it. Okay, a lot of people don't get all the way through the process, that's perfectly okay. If you should complete the process before the time's ended, just continue with, say, 4 images, sounds, feelings, and then 5, and so on. This is just another way of getting you acquainted with going in and out of hypnosis. These are just inductions. And practice all the various different methods that I've laid out in this volume, okay? And then when you've practiced and started altering your state and started, having some fun with it, you can then move on to the next CD, okay, the next volume, whereby you're going to get installing your program for self-hypnosis and start following the structure that you've learned earlier in this book, earlier in this program, earlier in what it is that you're learning here. Now, just before we move on to the next volume, before we start taking things a step further, further to the inductions that we've been discussing on this volume, there are several sample scripts of some of the things that have been mentioned so far. You can doctor them or gain inspiration from these things. That's included in the pack. That's included in the manual, the accompanying literature. Get ideas from them rather than copy them word for word. Remember that scripts are rather one-dimensional. They don't always carry a lot of emotion. They don't carry many images, sounds, or sensations that I suggested that you do put into your programs when you create them for yourself. You want your scripts and your programs to be alive and emotive with the kind of language that stimulates you and takes you on magical journeys to success and achievement, or just creates more discovery, more happiness within you. These are just ideas for getting into hypnosis, for getting into trance states. When you've then delivered your self-hypnosis program to yourself, you can then progress onto the section of this audio which has all the specific applications for using self-hypnosis for making certain specific changes like stopping smoking, gaining confidence, healing, creating wealth, and a whole lot of the more advanced stuff that we're going to be coming on to. The scripts, of course, are also in the first person tense, okay? Now, if you were using them for reading them to yourself and delivering them to yourself, that's fine. It's fine to use them that way. Remember, though, if you want to record them, you'll need to turn them into a script that a hypnotist would use if they were addressing you and use the second person tense. So, for example, I would say, Adam, you are in a deep hypnosis, rather than I am in a deep hypnosis, okay? As I mentioned earlier on in the earlier section of that, So just to ensure that you're getting it right, that you're responding to yourself in the way that's right for you. And keep on practicing, keep on delivering the various different ways, and experiment and really start to enjoy that. Now, by now, you should be practicing and should have practiced more and more of these techniques and should be getting more familiar with going into self-hypnosis, just altering your state. You should be using many different ways and deepening the state in your own ways and really personalizing your experience of hypnosis. Now, once you're sure that you're ready to take things on to the next stage, take yourself into a hypnotic state using any induction method you can. Take control of the state, as with step B, and deepen to the right level for you, step C. Deliver your program for self-hypnosis, okay, as step D. Deliver that program, step D, which is included in the accompanying literature, okay, which is included in the manual. Your program for self-hypnosis, using any of the techniques that we discussed earlier on in the audio set, okay? Then thank your unconscious mind and exit hypnosis. Having done that, do it again. Then do it again and repeat the delivery of this program until you are sure that you've firmly embedded it in your unconscious mind and you're ready to move forward, okay? Make sure you've really embedded your unconscious, within your unconscious mind, your program for self-hypnosis. Take yourself into hypnosis, deliver this program in as many ways as you like, or in the same way several times, whatever you prefer. Just get it well and truly delivered to your unconscious mind, then keep on using the structure of self-hypnosis model for your self-hypnosis sessions. From there, you can begin to write and construct powerful programs for change, as you've learned about already, using the guidelines that have been set out that we've discussed already, along with the kind of language that you respond to the most effectively, and then start making some really amazing changes, some transformations, some updates, or just having some more fun and some more happiness in your life. Okay, so we're very nearly ready to move on to the next section. Take a quick break. So before we move on to the advanced applications of self-hypnosis, I want to talk a little bit about instant hypnosis. There are going to be times when you do not want to have to relax yourself, count from 1 to 10, take control, sufficiently deepen, deliver a pre-created program, and then exit hypnosis. That takes some effort, it takes some consideration, some forethought. Okay, there are likely to be some times when it's not appropriate to do that. Those times are going to be things like when you want to stop your eyes watering if and when you're chopping onions, or if you cut yourself shaving and you want to stop the bleeding, or if you bang your finger in the car door or you want to relax yourself immediately prior to a job interview, or if you're making a long, late-running train journey zip by. All these things that I've just mentioned, I've used self-hypnosis in an instant to get the results that I wanted at that moment, okay? So before really getting into the idea of instant hypnosis and zapping yourself into the state for rapid and immediate use, be sure that you're thoroughly and well acquainted with getting into hypnosis in the full structured methodology first. Okay, I'm going to repeat that because I know there's people out there that want to shortcut their way through this stuff, but you need to follow. Really, really important here. Be sure that you're thoroughly and well acquainted with getting into hypnosis in the full structured method first. It's really important that you've practiced that before you proceed. It's really important that in order to achieve a profound and powerful level of success with self-hypnosis, that you're fully aware of the state and how you recognize it. How do you know when you're in a state of self-hypnosis? You'll only know when you've practiced a structured methodology over and over and got to that stage whereby you really do recognize the qualities of your hypnotic experience. Listen to the CDs that I've included, and once you've arrived at that stage, you can then begin to get into that state more rapidly because you consciously and unconsciously know what it is you're looking for, and you can begin to let it happen and flow more easily without having to consciously concentrate and analyze the state to know if you have it or not. Okay? Now, when you're ready for instant hypnosis and you're well acquainted with the self-hypnosis model and its use, then take yourself into hypnosis with step A. Take control with step B. Continually deepen with step C, and then deliver the program for instant hypnosis that's in the manual, okay, that's in the file. Deliver that program as per step D in whatever way suits you best. Remember to thank your unconscious mind and yourself, and then exit as per step E. If you prefer, you can create your own version. You can create your own trigger words to ensure that it's congruent with you. Just do whatever you'd prefer. So follow that, follow these methods, follow everything that I've been asking you to do, okay? Acquaint yourself with the programs in the file, practice, and whenever you're ready and whenever you know that you've practiced enough, okay? Whenever you are sure that you're getting to that stage where you can start using this now for even more powerful applications, then you can move on to the next volume, okay? Please don't proceed with the rest of this audio set until you know that you're really acquainted with and you're well experienced at taking yourself into self-hypnosis. Use the accompanying CDs that I've used, that I've provided. Make sure that you're going in and out of hypnosis nicely, smoothly, and easily. And then when you do, you can start to proceed onto the next section of this audio set. Okay, so that's me out of here for this particular volume. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure you have. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Best wishes.